Alright, time to go for the JP tier list and update it. Yeah. 5 new characters. Six new characters. Job, I forgot about Mono. 6 new characters to put in the tier list, and all of them are actually very difficult to rank. Like, all of them. And they're all exclusive. So, yeah, pretty rough on the edges there. I'll be starting by order, so I'm gonna start off with Red Lilia, which is honestly a very interesting and very great unit. She is, of course, made for the King team, which, upon release, when she initially released, if you'd ask me what tier I would put, boom, because she's that good at the King team. But things happen. She's fantastic for the team because at beginning of battle she applies corrosion to everyone. It says enemies with 3 or less ultimate gauge move. The only way your enemy would have more than 3 ultimate gauge at beginning of battle would be if they're using if they're using ult feed, they go second, using Green Merlin, and a card combines for the unit to the left, and that unit on the left would not get corrosed. That's the only way. And I'm almost certain that he would still get corrosed because before the card combines it still applies? Question mark? Never had that actually happen when I was using her, which is unfortunate. But regardless, 99.9% of the time she's going to corrose every single one of your enemies, which really helps King's passive because he needs, let me open up King as well just for the point. He needs the enemies to either be corrosed, poised, bled. Is that correct way of saying it? I hope so. Or have shock. So having corrosion, and then he can apply poison as well. So that's only missing one for the full effect on his passive of not only sealing cleansing for recovery skills, but also taking off 1 orb from them every turn. So she helps him out a lot. So if you use her, King, and Handy, not only you're going to be applying his passive so easily, but his card, which releases damage of turn, damage per turn, becomes even stronger because now it also increases damage from the corrosion as well. So it's such a good and fantastic combo to use all 3 together. It's crazy. So Lilia is a fantastic unit, not only because of her passive, but this card of healing is so good. Most of the matches, either her or Handy would have low HP, right? King is such a tank, he would never be the one. But let's say she's the one with the low HP. Whatever damage she will do to the enemy, she will give herself 80% of the damage that she dealt, to herself. Plus, she has pretty good lifesteal upon Super Awakening. So, yeah, she, is such an immortal unit as well upon attacking with this card, and also healing allies as well, which is really good. All allies. And then take off ultimate gauge is also fantastic. On the King team, majority of the time you won't need this, but it always can be helpful in AoE ult. She is super good. But she isn't the best combo for the King team anymore because they decided to release this guy. I'll talk about him in a second, but only because of this guy, I'm not giving her God tier. She's fantastic though. If you use her on the King Handy team, sorry, I actually meant to put Handy here. If you use her in the King Handy team, it's just too good. The combo is way too good. King Handy was already the best team in the game upon release, and then they released her, which made the team even better. Then they released Kyo, which made the team even better. So they're really pushing for the King team. I'm assuming next banner or next festival exclusive will counter King somehow. Maybe a unit that cannot be debuffed. Maybe the one asking her. I mean, to be fair, the Rugal we got kind of can't be debuffed as easily, in the beginning of battle, because if you drop him below 50, he cleanses. But regardless, Lilia is fantastic. That's where I'm putting her. Oh, some adjustments I wanted to make sincerely. So, for the past few weeks, some changes have been occurring, and honestly, the more I use Blue Droll, because I've used him, I tried using him for a few videos, and I used him, in my spare time, I don't think he's as good as Green Droll. He's just not. Petrify is not as good as it used to be, and his taunt is cool and all, but when every single meta character is AoE, well, what's the point of having taunt? I mean, I know in a lot of situations it could be good, but actually, sorry, I just realized, because I'm moving setups and I'm not in my regular computer anymore, the names of the tiers changed, so I had to re-put the tiers, because most people that watch my tier list don't come from another tier list, they're new viewers, so they don't understand maybe like how my tiers are like work. So yeah, I put like in parentheses like a description for it. So moving on, forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, and the more I use Ludocio, and you know, with these new teams coming up, I think, you know, whaled out Ludocio should be God tier. It's just way too good. Again, because like half to 70% of the people that watch my tier list videos are new viewers. I have these these money icons in Fraugen and Ludocio to differentiate whaled out Ludocio and Fraugen from regular Ludocio and Fraugen, because it's a difference. They are units made to be whaled out, and not like regular units like, let's say, Hauser, you know? But yeah. Anyways, continue with new characters. Mono. So Mono is interesting because she is only PvE. She's only PvE. You cannot use her on PvP because her passive does not work on PvP, and her cards are not good enough to be used on PvP. Her cards don't cut for PvP. But interesting thing, she is absolutely fantastic for PvE because her passive increases damage dealt by 30% per ultimate orb on enemies. 30% is a lot. Is a lot. If the enemy has 3 orbs, that's 90% just there. And she has pretty good stats. Crit chance, just pretty good crit chance. I mixed her up with Roxy. I thought she was over the high pierce rate. Oh, that sucks. But she's still really good. Using her, I've been using her a lot on PvE. The only thing that sucks about her is her ultimate. This ultimate sucks. Multiplier is pretty low because it has bleed, which does the damage again twice for 90%, right? The thing is, difficult bosses in the game cannot be debuffed, so what's the point? It has no, her ultimate has no point in being bleed ultimate. This ultimate sucks. So other than that, her cards are pretty good. The AoE isn't the highest damage, but preventing ultimate gauge on AoE can be very handy. And she's gonna be critting every time she hits, and if the enemy has quite a bit of ultimate gauge, she'll be hitting pretty hard. I won't give her an insane ranking, because, you know, oh, it wasn't holding. You know, she cannot be used on PvP, but I think she's pretty good. Like, she is really, really good on PvE. And you can use her Hell Red Demon, you can use her in lots of red enemy specific activities, especially considering super boss activities, you cannot use demons. So your options right there are already kind of restricted, because it cuts off, you know, Meliodas, which is the main character, it cuts off Derriere, Zeldris, lots of good characters, lots of good blue characters as well, you know, Zeldris. So you can use her for any super boss in the future, and she will be good because super bosses, you know, tend to have lots of ultimate gauge like turn 1. So she is actually very good, very, very good PvE unit. Continuing, starting with the KOF units. So I'll go in this list right here, in this order right here. So Mai was a little more hyped up than I was wishing she was. Like, when I got my hands on her, I actually thought she was incredible, because I did very well with her in specific matches, but using her more and more and more, I see she can be very inconsistent. The teams that you're supposed to use her, unfortunately in PvP, are not meta. You're supposed to use her with Gelfer, which already, Gelfer's very good, but unfortunately, if you're playing JP right now, you know that if you're using anything that isn't King Handy, and you face King Handy, you're most likely lost. So, it's just, PvP is a little chaotic right now, but she's very good. I was originally thinking of actually giving her God tier because of how much fun I had with her. She's really good. Like this, her passive is incredible. Ranking up cards increases basic stats by 15% for 2 turns. It's so simple and so effective, because this happens like without even thinking of doing that. You're gonna rank up your cards. and she has Take Off Ultimate Gauge, and she has the Amplify, which combines perfectly with her passive. Honestly, they thought better about these KOF units than they think about the 7 Deadly Sins characters. I'm telling you, the KOF units have so much good synergy with their own passives and cards than most other characters in the game that are part of the, 7 Deadly Sins. I don't know why, but it is a thing. Originally, I was gonna put her there, but I think I can't, and I will actually put her here. I know, you guys want to see her up, but genuinely, she's very inconsistent. Nah, I can't. She's really good. It's just because of how frustrated I got playing with her, I want to put her down, but she's really good. She's really, really good. That's how I was originally thinking of putting her here, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe next month when I update it, I might put her down again. I just think she's really good. She's just really inconsistent, which is odd because this card is the opposite of inconsistent. Like, taking off Ultimate Gauge is the most, like, helpful card possible in PvP. But, I don't know. Most matches, I just didn't have a good time with her, but some matches, she just completely stomped. So, moving on, what was the next one on the list? Afina. Can I skip her? Let's go Kyo. Let's go Kyo. Kyo is God tier. I'm not exaggerating. He's so incredible. He's actually the best unit from the KOF collab. Honestly, I would say he's top 10 best units in the game. Top 5? If I had to make like a quick ranking, Lost Vein would be number 1. Because, I mean, overall, right? Not talking just PvP. Lost Vein would definitely be number 1. Followed up by Gelfer, because he's still so good. Maybe Goddess Liz. I don't know who else I'll put afterwards. King, maybe, and then him? Honestly, I think I don't know. I'll have to think more about it. Bless you. I'll have to think more about it. But, yeah, I think he could make the top 5 best units in the game. His passive has no drawback at all. Like, his passive goes nuts turn 1 and just doesn't stop. At the start of every turn, applies 2 ignites for 3 turns to all enemies. There's no like, if you do this, he does that. No, he just does that. And for each ignite, reduces damage dealt to allies by 5%. So for each ignite on the enemy, that enemy will reduce the damage that he does by each ignite. So let's say he has 6 ignites, that enemy will do 30% less damage. It's not for all the enemies, it's just like specific enemy will do less damage depending on the amount of ignites he has on them. So turn 1, you're already decreasing the damage you take by 10%. It's so good. It's so good, and if there's multiple enemies, you're applying so many ignites, and his cards combine so well with that, because he has Cold Destruction for each debuff, he does 20% more damage, and Scourge for each ignite, he does 25% more damage AoE. It's like they didn't like stop, and like going through his stats. So I want to talk about Super Awakened stats. These are his Super Awakened stats: 56% pierce, 58% crit chance, 183% crit damage, 92% crit defense, 21% lifesteal. His stats are really good. I have HP and defense for mine, that's why he has such a high CC, because I want him to stay alive in the battle. And not only that, he is the perfect companion for King Handy, because in the first turn, you're doing 20% more damage to the enemies, which counts so much for the DOT, right? The poison, the bleed, and the shock. And that also increases the damage you're going to do with this card as well. It has so much synergy, and he just works so well. He's incredible, I really wish, like, I have a pet peeve that I never played a KOF game. So I have no clue who Kyo is, Rugal, whatever. I have no clue who they are. They just showed up in the game and I just know they're good. I wish it was other people with the same cards and same passive. I really do. Because if it was people I knew, I would love that. But unfortunately, I just know it's Kyo that's good and that's it. If it was like a... They would never, but a Naruto collab and this is like Sasuke. This would be so much cooler, right? But unfortunately, it's not the case. It would be Sasuke so bad, because, you know, like if Kid Sasuke, all he does is like fireball, it would work so well, right? So I don't know. Unfortunately, it's the case, but I know some people like KOF. Not the majority of people I've seen. Majority of people don't care about the characters, like the actual characters, more about like what they do because they're so good. Moving on, I'll go to Afina now. Let's rip off the band-aid. Afina's good, but she's the worst one. I tried her out like after I made her initial showcase, and you know I got a good feel for her. I tried her out more, I put her in the back, I put her in the front, because, you know, her passive works in the back. Every time you kill someone, all the allies of that enemy will lose to ultimate gauge, which in theory is amazing. In practice, it can be really good too. But she's not that good. She has a good CC, but she's not that good. She just isn't. I don't know. It's missing something. Detonate is an okay card. It works well in some characters. Her ult is cool, cancel stances. The stun is level 3. She's just not all that. The more I use, the more disappointed I get. So, out of all, she gets the lowest ranking. I put her on 8 tier. Out of all, she gets the lowest ranking, by far actually. Because no one else drops below SS tier. Because Kyo... Okay, listen. I know sometimes I can get really attached to specific characters, like when I gave Estarossa God tier like 2 months ago. And he really was, and I just was having a lot of fun with him, okay? But I genuinely think Rugal is amazing. He's God tier. Like, I know, okay? Sometimes I do that. But I just have so much fun with him. His passive is my favorite passive in the game. When the hero survives below 50, removes debuffs, fully heals, increased stats by 15%. The reason why it is because he doesn't have to end of turn be 50%. Let's say Lost Vein is attacking him with level 3, single target, and he drops him below 50 and he's attacking again. The second attack, Rugal will already be with full HP. Because it's the moment he drops 50%, if he's not dead, he fully heals. It's such an amazing passive. I really wish this wasn't the one Escanor. It would fit him so well because, you know, he's in the middle of, you know, needing to be strong. He just powers up, right? It would fit it so well. I really wish this whole kit wasn't the one Escanor. It really pisses me off that it's not. But regardless, he is the one I'm having the most fun with. Also because he inflicts triple pierce AoE, same card as Building a Melee. He completely revived the Pierce team. Before this week, honestly, no one was running Pierce anymore. Because there was no point. The King team was so much better, it was no point. Now, half my matches are against Pierce team. Because there's a point now. This guy is good. Triple Pierce card, fantastic. You pair him up with Lilia and Building Melee. That's the best the Pierce team has ever had. Much better than Hauser, much better than Escanor. So much better. He's so good. And then this card is probably the worst thing about him. Because I really hate how, you know, from level 1 to 2, it just increases the percentage of decrease of attack related stats by 10%, and that's it. Doesn't even increase the turn, it's one turn. But honestly, it comes in clutch so often when you decrease their attack. If you're using him with Kyo, you're decreasing the damage that they do, and then you also decrease their attack. It's so good. You're just doubling down how much, you know, you lower from them. So yeah, I put him on God tier, and his ultimate is a one-shot on anyone. I put him on, oh, and he has a link with Escanor, Resistance. So good. I put him on God tier, and that's my final judgment for the KOF units. Alright, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. When they come to global, I do recommend summoning. And sometimes I say skip banners because maybe something else better will come up, especially with, you know, festival exclusive characters coming up. But you'll see, I think they're good and fun, which is a big deal to me. Alright, that's it.